Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first installment of what I hope will be an enjoyable and informative and enlightening series of 5-minute shiurim on the Haggadah Shal Pesach in anticipation of the Yom Tov of Pesach, which is coming. Today will be an introduction. We're not going to really start with the actual Seder, but merely an introduction to the Seder in our time in this year. I remember when I was young, I have a very clear memory. I was a young child, and one time my mother met a Russian Jew on Avenue J. I can't remember his name, but I remember his face very clearly. And my mother invited him, asked him, "Are you Jewish?" He knew very few words of English. "Are you Jewish?" He said, "Yeah." So my mother asked him, "Do you want to come for the Seder?" He was delighted. He had never been at a Seder in his life. He knew that his father used to have a Seder when he was young. He came to the Seder, and we had a Russian Balas Truva who translated everything for him, and it was really not penetrating. He was finding it very, very boring, until we got up to V'hisha Amda, and I remember that my father said, "V'hisha Amda laviseinu lanu shebachol dar v'dar," in every generation, Amdam aleinu l'chal yiseinu. And my father explained it as in every generation. That could be whether it's back in the Crusades, all the way up to the times of Gorbachev. He said Lenin and Stalin and Gorbachev, all the last leaders of communism, and all of a sudden this Russian Jew came alive. And when it was translated to him, he was like, "Yes, they tried to steal our Judaism from us. They tried to, but they didn't win. We always win. We always come out of it alive." And that memory always comes to mind when I think about how Pesach Seder is the bedrock of our Amunah, and it's where we learn Amunah, but it's so difficult to attach it to our daily lives. When you attach the Pesach Seder and the Seder has relevance in our daily life, and it's not just a story about Yitzias Mitzrayim of 3,300 years ago, but we attach the relevance of Yitzias Mitzrayim to our daily life, or we have something in our daily life that makes Yitzias Mitzrayim more relevant to us, then it makes the Sipur Yitzias Mitzrayim, and it makes the Seder all that much more meaningful. So, in a time like this, where we see the Yad Hashem so clearly, it's so clear how Hashem is sending a message to us that you think you run the world, and you think you run the economy, and you think you run the great healthcare system, and Hashem is showing how with one little virus that came, one little microbe that came from a bat, spread across all of humankind, and the bahala that it's creating in the entire world, Hashem is so clearly showing us a message. And I wonder, why does Hashem have to do it now? It's such a busy time. Everybody's trying to prepare for Pesach, people coming home. Like, such a great time. Maybe you could have done it 2 months ago. I think that Hashem wants us to feel the Yad Hashem going into Pesach. And this year we could really understand Dever when we learn about a plague, and it's not just like an abstract thing, a plague and makas b'chayris and the b'chayrim dying. It's just so abstract to us. Whoever heard of a plague? A plague is like so old-fashioned. That's like back in the horse and buggy days. And now that we feel a plague, like we could understand the makas better. We can understand. We feel the Yad Hashem, and therefore we could understand, comprehend better the Yad Hashem that took us out of Mitzrayim and chose us as a nation. And this Pesach in particular is a very, very, very opportune time for us to be able to explain to our children and to explain to ourselves, to really make ourselves feel and understand the Yad Hashem and the Hashgacha and how Hashem took us out of Mitzrayim. So hopefully, in this journey through the Pesach Seder, we'll gain an appreciation of that, and Mitzvah Hashem, this Pesach will be the most meaningful Pesach we ever had.